Hello guys, hello everyone. I guess we're still missing one panelist, but welcome everyone to the session. We're going to discuss our circular economy in Latin America and Caribbean. Cool. So welcome everyone to the session. I have here some colleagues from Latin America. We are going to discuss about opportunities to embed and to plug the circular economy in the region, and what are the main benefits to adopt a circular economy in Latin America and Caribbean. I have here with me Petar Ostojic. If I'm saying okay, Petar is founder and executive director of the Center of Innovation and Circular Economy in Chile and CEO of Neptune Pumps, and also got an amazing podcast in Spanish. If you don't listen yet about circular economy, you have to. We have also here Carolina Zasvorkova. I'm right, Zasvorkova, sorry, is a policy officer of the Directorate General for Environment and at European Commission, and Pia Alonso, consultant at PAGE Program, Uruguay and Argentina, for UNIDO's Regional Office for Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, and Paraguay. Welcome everyone to the panel. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. Thank you so much for joining us today. I would like to start. I'm Mike. I work at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. I work for and Cities Activation Manager. My main agenda is pushing the circular economy with cities in Latin America. So I work with cities in Brazil, cities in other countries. I work with around 90 cities totally in Latin America, and try to demonstrate transformational projects around circular economy that could transform the realities of communities and make better and thriving cities using and adopting a circular economy. As you guys know, the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, it's a foundation that helps the transition for a circular economy. We work with different sectors. We work with academia, we work with businesses, innovators, and governments and cities to make the circular economy happening and to help the transition from the linear to a circular economy. Because a circular economy, more than ever, is a bigger idea. To get the root of causes of challenges like plastic waste, climate changing, biodiversity loss. The circular economy is about creating solutions to global challenges at speed and scale, and ways that we can help deliver a better growth, more inclusive, more diversity. And the circular economy is bigger than just better recycling. Most people think in circular economy is just about recycling. It's something that doesn't exist yet. It's something that we need to design and build. And in doing so, we can solve many of the interconnected challenges that we are facing. And the circular economy, as I mentioned, is a way to address the global challenges. And it's based on 3 principles: design and out of waste and pollution, keep products and material in use, and regenerating natural systems. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'd like to start to asking about you guys, what are your circular economy in the region and what you guys have been working with in the region. So I'm going to start with Pia and then I move to Petar, okay?
Thank you so much, Mike, and thank you for this invitation. I'm going to share a little bit of some findings that we made in our report. We wrote a report with my colleague, Manuel Albaladejo, and Chatham House for Latin America transition towards this circular economy and the opportunities for building resilience. So I'm going to focus in the findings related to this event and for the interested of the event. The first finding that we find in the report for Latin America is that we need strong institutions and policies that are key to success. Hi, Caroline. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
I continue? Okay.
Yeah, please.
Right.
Hello?
Yes, it's okay. You're on live. We are live. Great. So I continue that we need strong institutions and key policies to success the circular economy transition. What we mean with strong institutions, it's also related to high transparency and also effective public expenditure from the government point of view. Also in the report, we identified 6 policy measures that they are important to boost the circular economy in the region. I'm going to mention the 6 policies briefly, but we have more detail in the report. National circular economy roadmaps and strategies. I have Peter here. Chile is now with the Chilean roadmap. It's an awesome work. So congratulations, Chile, with that. And we'll see how we continue moving forward with this roadmap. The other policy is the waste management policies. Most of the countries have at least a waste management policy, and also the extended producer responsibility schemes incorporated in this type of policies. Also, another policy is the material resource efficiency and recycling targets. That these are linked for a really strong concept that we are talking about in different reports and articles, that it's the need of decoupling the resource use in the economy from the growth of GDP. Other the fiscal policies are also important. Here you can have taxation, incentives, subsidy removal, and at least the product policies, that these include the eco design, the single-use products bans, and the product lifetime extensions. These policies need to also, it's important to link them. We are we are in a good place to link them with international trade strategies for the countries, because we are now starting in Latin America to move and push forward this type of national circular economy plans and roadmaps. So start thinking about how it's linked to international trade, and commerce strategies are really important. I wanted to mention this. We have other key findings in the reports that are really linked to what I mentioned about decoupling and the resource efficiency, and how we see industrial development, sustainable industrial development, to boost an important factor to boost circular economy in the region. But I leave the floor to Peter to continue, and then we can discuss other topics.
Perfect. Thanks, Pia.
Thank you, Pia. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, I'm really excited with what is going on in Latin America, especially regarding the circular economy. I have to mention that personally, I have been working on this for the last 7 years. So I've been really lucky to see how all this has developed, all the great work that Uruguay has been done with the first conference on circular economy. I remember working with Manuel. But I have to mention that in Latin America, this has been bottom up. I think entrepreneurs and business people had played a major role on what is happening right now. And through success cases, the governments and policymakers have started grasping the circular economy and creating all these wonderful things that Pia just mentioned. In Chile, we've accomplished our roadmap. We are also living and going through a green energy revolution. I have to mention that Chile was the country with the most expensive energy in Latin America, and right now we have up to 50% of clean energy in our matrix. So everything is converging. the circular economy, the green energy, but also, and the people that knows me know that I say this all the time, that we cannot talk about the circular economy without mentioning the fourth industrial revolution. Pia also mentioned this. We need, and this is a huge opportunity for our region to reindustrialize, but in a smart, safe, and sustainable way. We, as a region, where we didn't play a big role on the first, second, and third industrial revolution. Maybe we play it through our natural resources, but right now we have the opportunity to create a more complex matrix with the democratization of the industry 4.0. So I think it's a great opportunity, and I think countries as Chile are really conscious about this. And I just want to mention one big step we made here, because it happened in the last few weeks. We are creating the first center of circular economy as a public and private initiative, with the participation of Corfo, which is our Ministry of Production, and also with big industries from our region. We started with a funding of $10 million, and we raised from the private sector 12 million extra. So we are starting our project with 22.5 to be exact, for our center. And this, I think, will be a great example and a way to show that the circular economy can let the public and private sector collaborate in order to create sustainable economic growth, high quality jobs, that I think it's super important in a post-pandemic world, and fight climate change, as all the great reports from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation has shown us, that can fight up to 45% of carbon emissions through the circular economy. So we are really excited on this. As you know, Mike, we're also through the Center of Innovation and Circular Economy promoting a lot of seminars, but with really specific areas. Agriculture, smart cities. You are invited to one of them. Mining, agriculture, manufacturing. So I think a lot of stuff is going on in our region, and we also see the opportunity of South collaboration, which is super important. We are creating great bridges with India, with Africa, in order to also show the particularities of the circular economy in these regions, which are quite different from from Europe or North America. So that's a broad view. And also, as you guys know, I have this podcast, Circular Revolution in English, Revolución Circular in Spanish, showcasing big companies, small companies, and it's amazing how many great examples we have in the world. So I invite you, everybody, to watch it and to listen it. So that's it. And thank you for inviting me here.
Thank you. I don't know. Thank you, Petar. I'm going to about the opportunities that we have of collaboration South-South and the unique challenges that we are facing in Latin America, because when you compare circular economy opportunities here and the challenges, social challenges in Latin America, they are quite different. As you mentioned, they are quite unique. And I really want to back to this point, but I want you here for Carolina. Carolina, able to talk to us. I don't know if I know you're having connection issues there, but hopefully we can get you. I can get you online. Let me know if you are able to speak to us, and welcome to the session.
Hello. Thank you, and I hope you can hear me now. Sorry about that. I had no audio and speaking, and unfortunately I missed the 15 minutes of your discussion, so I hope I won't repeat too much. So thank you for coming back to me.
Please, Carolina, could you please let us know what I know you are part of the European Commission, and What are the plans? I know we have a lot to exchange with European always about circular economy, but we'd like to know what are the plans for a circular economy on the Green Deal, and what are, if is there any opportunity or any chance to exchange more that Green Deal and plug that Green Deal with our actions of circular economy in Latin America.
Thank you, Mike. As I'm sure you've already heard today, European Green Deal, it's a huge all-encompassing in the European Union has started in late 2019, and the circular economy is a very important part of it, but it's one of the key elements of. And in March 2020, the Circular Economy Action Plan, the new one, was launched, with a very important part of it being global outreach of the plan. I'm sure you're very familiar with the circular economy. What are the main elements that the European Union would like to see and change? So I will focus now on the global outreach. Actually, the 2021 has already achieved quite a lot for the global coalitions. The GASERA was launched, so the global and on circular economy and resource efficiency, that was launched by European Union and together with UNIDO and UNEP. And actually, 20 days prior, the regional forum on circular economy in Latin America was launched. So we are quite happy that things are happening. Of course, we would like to see more initiatives come to fruition. Also, for example, talking about the global agreement on plastics that we would like to propose on the European level at the next UNEA session. So this is just a very broad framework that we are working on, which we hope will advocate for circular economy on a global level. And especially, we are very happy that we have many like-minded countries in Latin America, including, of course, Chile, Peru, Colombia. So it's from the south to north and back. And I have to say that the circular economy has the advantage being in comparison to, say, other parts of European Green Deal, such as biodiversity strategy or climate action, that it's a very positive topic, and we encounter a lot of interest and a lot of support from all parts of political level, also from the civil society. So we are quite positive on the future of circular economy and our Latin American countries in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolina. As Carolina mentioned, this year we launched Latin America and Caribbean Coalition. That's a regional effort to move the continent, the whole continent, the countries, the cities, to a circular economy, to create more, to develop more regional opportunities for the whole region in Latin America. I would like to know from Petar and Pia, what do you think, what are your thoughts about that coalition, how that will benefit the Latin America in general?
Well, I have a big expectations with the coalition. For me, if we imagine the winners of the circular world, we maybe think about all the universe, individuals, companies, countries at the whole level. So to create these opportunities for exchange knowledge, generate new policies, not thinking only in our countries, but also the region, to scale up the circular economy, to scale up trade. So the coalition, I think, it will benefit this type of exchange, and to have information shared, all in the same platform, with relevant institutions and governments, private sector working together. This is key to foster circular economy, not only in Latin America, but also in the whole world. So I totally agree with Petar with this, with the promotion of South cooperation, and how also it's important for our governments in Latin America linked to circular economy and Industry 4.0, how to invest more in GDP and to share the knowledge, invest more R&D in reference to GDP. I think it's less than 1% of R&D is invested. If we compare with GDP, it's really low. But also, it's not to invest more, but also how we bring these all new technologies from countries that are more developed and adopt them in our regions that we don't have the same qualifications, skills qualifications. So we need to work together as a region to the link in circular economy and Industry 4.0. The coalition, I think it's a great platform to have this knowledge share and also bring more events to the table together with all the institutions and working together. Thank you.
Absolutely agree, and I think that the coalition couldn't come in a better moment. We need to remember that COVID hit us hard. It's hitting us really hard. Last year, Latin America lost 7.7% of its GDP. More than 200 million people are right now considered poor because of COVID. And we also have to remember that Latin America is the second more disaster-prone region in the planet. So climate change, the pandemic, are really bad news for us. So we need governments, we need policymakers, and we need entrepreneurs and business people to create this new sustainable economic growth and high quality jobs, definitely. And I also always think that what Carolina mentioned, the Green New Deal for Latin America is one of the greatest examples I think we should follow. We're really excited in creating these bridges with you, Carolina. So I take this opportunity also to meet you and to tell you that we are really looking forward for what you're accomplishing with the Green New Deal. We think it's a great example for our countries, with the advantage, as I mentioned earlier, that for us it doesn't only allow us to create this new business model or economic model that is a circular economy, but also to become an important player in the fourth industrial revolution. That I think the mixture of these two currents will help us go through these really hard times we are living. And at the same time, we also need to know that the digitalization and electrification of the planet will require more of the natural resources we have here. So we are living in a really special time, because we know that we cannot continue with extraction, but at the same time we will need more resources in order to electrify and fight climate change. So we need the transition. For me, it's a key word, and we need technology for that. We need this new business model. So I think the mixture between Latin America, the Green New Deal in Europe, and the collaboration South-South, it's key for us.
Thank you, Petar. As you mentioned, the pandemic brought to Latin America a really hard time, a really hard moment. We are dealing with high levels of unemployment and high levels of food insecurity in the whole region. And beside that, we are facing a lot of deforestation and loss of our biodiversity. And that makes the circular economy more relevant than ever for the region. So that's why the coalition and all efforts from cities, governments around circular economy and how the public sector and the private sector could work together on public-private collaborations, to accelerate the circular economy in the region. But indeed, we are creating new ways and I would say it's a new time to redesign, to rethinking about our models of extraction, our way to produce things, and to create that new business model, the circular business model. The time is now. I think we should really push and bring their agenda into our conversations, our interactions with the public, the private sector, really to trying to push the circular economy. And I know one piece really important for Latin America is about financing, because we are struggling with the crisis, we're struggling with the pandemic, and financing is a key role for advancing the agenda of circular economy here. And I would like to hear from Carolina if the Europe or if you guys are thinking about fundings that support the creation of a better growth in other regions other than Europe.
Thank you, Mike. Of course, we are very well aware that European Green Deal and Europe being one of the largest economic blocks in the world will have effect on the third countries. So this is an integral part of our thinking on when we draft our policies and when we are working together. And just to highlight, we see European Green Deal as an opportunity on a global scale for all countries. And of course, we also see this transition has to be gradual and has to be supported from us, from our side. That is a part of our global outreach. We are working with our partners in the third country, with international organizations on how to best approach and support our partners in adopting more sustainable models, in creating sustainable supply chains, adopt to policies that will be at some point adopted by the EU that will have a direct impact on trade with third countries. If you have, for example, the deforestation or biodiversity loss, we are preparing legislation and policies that to prevent that the EU consumption is linked with deforestation. And of course, this will impact third countries that are exporting currently to the European Union. Of course, it will also impact our EU member states. But for this, we envisage to have a specific project, specific programs to support our partners in making sure that they will be able to get a go ahead with the green transition also on their side. Of course, each country is at a different phase on the way to a green transition, and that's why we also have to tailor the support and the outreach that we are having.
Yeah, thank you, Carolina. Recognizing the convergence of favorable, trends and identifying a need for alignment into how to make the transition for a circular economy, as at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, create a set of circular economy policy goals to create a common direction of travel. We call that the universal policy goals. The universal policy goals are 5 goals. They are totally interconnected because the solutions must to be interconnected and go beyond individual business or ministry that are for the whole region. And that goals, they explain a little bit, just to explain a little bit, they are available on our website. It's a way to recognize the policy measures and how then we can transition for a circular economy. The goals are relevant for cross sectors, so in all the value chains, and provide like a springboard of context-specific policy developments, including like uh, buildings, cross-sector approach, highlighting the commonalities that we have in the region, and involving such like a fast-moving consumer goods and food and long-lived assets, such biodiversity. Each of these goals can be delivered through a range of policy measures applied at the most suitable governance tier. Uh, we have that goes in different languages. So we have that goes in English, in Spanish, in Portuguese, in Chinese, and in French. Websites, the goals are pre-related. The number one, it's about how to stimulate or how to create design for a circular economy. As we know, we have to redesign and rethinking our products, our business models, our ways to collaborate, and how public policy could help on that. Managing resources to preserve value, here pre-connected to biodiversity, and maintain use a regenerative agriculture or regeneration our natural system. Goal 3 is to make the economics work, or how can we imagine, how can we use our resources, our powers, like public procurement to better to increase or to advance the circular economy agenda. Number 4, it's about invest in innovation and infrastructure and skills. That's pretty connected to Petar mentioned Industry 4.0. And goal number 5, it's about collaborative for system change. Without collaboration, we cannot achieve any type of circular economy movement or goal or target. It's not about one government or one city or one company. It's about the whole system trying to think and trying to move fast to a circular economy. Regarding that moving fast, I would like to ask for Pia, Petar, and Carolina, how can you see the companies, the private sector, involved in that revolution, in that transition for a circular economy in the region? What are the role of the private sector on that collaboration?
I start. So Petar mentioned it before, earlier in this panel. The private sector started doing circular economy before governments started thinking about this. So it's key to take the circular economy beyond the limits of the countries. The involvement of the private sector, as I mentioned, the individuals in the private sectors are the key winners in this circular movement. So to give them some from the policymakers' point of view to have a clear policies that help the private sector invest more in new type of technologies, to have some pilots to improve, for example, the concept, improve now to start thinking about the concept of industrial symbiosis and these eco parks, green eco parks that we are mentioned today, where the private sectors get involved in this transition. It's key to achieve the goals that are defined by governments or by the coalition or whatever. So I really celebrated what Petar mentioned about the Circular Economy Innovation Center. To have this type of centers in the countries and in a region, it's so relevant to start investing to move the investment there and start moving forward the circular economy to a high position. Not thinking only about circular economy related to recycling, but we have to move there and start thinking higher, like with high value added of the private sector in this transition. To have it's amazing to have this $12 million received from investment from the private sector. So you see there that they are interested in investing in this type of solution. It's the future. It's how we are going to recover from the COVID. We are going to have a green recovery. We are working hard in the PAGE program with this concept of the green recovery. It's a huge opportunity. Latin America is being hit hard with unemployment. So circular economy, it's definitely a great opportunity for this green recovery of the private sectors, of the small and medium business that Latin America, in Uruguay, 98% of the businesses are small and medium. So, and they were hit the most. So they start thinking in these new types of doing business, and governments and the European Union and other fundings must work together with the private sector to help them improve and move forward.
Thank you, Pia.
Well, I live and breathe in the private sector, and as I mentioned earlier, I've been pushing the circular economy in that area for the last 7 to 8 years, and as Ernest Hemingway said, first gradually, then suddenly. Is exactly what happened. It's the non-linearity of every process, and I can tell you that I lived through that personally, and it started to explode in the private sector, especially in Chile. I would say in the last year and a half. So it's absolutely non-linear the process, and I think the real game changer came when the private sector started to see the circular economy as a great business opportunity. That through all the studies and reports that you guys from the Ellen MacArthur have shown, this $4.5 trillion dollars opportunity made their minds change. I think that is the big change from the previous social responsibility era or the sustainability era that was for business people, and I can speak for myself a little bit. It was hard to grasp. So when you start seeing in the circular economy the importance of traceability, or also you have now the technological opportunity maybe that you didn't have 10 years ago of really tracing all your process through state-of-the-art or groundbreaking technology as blockchain. I think that absolutely changes everything. So I always end my keynote speeches with this great Victor Hugo quote that it says, "There's nothing more powerful than an idea that its time has come." And as I said, it was really gradual, but right now the private sector understand that it's a great business opportunity, and I think what we need to push through the Circular Economy Coalition and through the success cases is to not be ashamed to say it. I think in order to have a great new business model, it needs to be sustainable economically. You cannot live for the rest of your life with the cooperation of government, of the public sector. You need to do it privately in order to create the new jobs and create the economic growth. But at the same time, I think that technology allowed us to do this. The democratization of Industry 4.0 is allowing small to medium companies to take new technologies, 3D printing, artificial intelligence, big data, machine learning, even blockchain. So it's a new era. As I mentioned earlier, I think we're in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution, but the biggest change here is we are going from the industrial era to the digital era. So I think it's full of opportunities, and really excited about what is going on.
Thank you, Peter. Carolina, please.
Thank you. I can only better saying, and from let's say policymaker side, we as a European Union and a European Commission, we can only provide incentives and adequate policy frameworks. But the majority of the job is, of course, to be done by businesses and by civil society. So it's very encouraging to hear the passion from Petar and then the businesses are bringing to circular economy. So it's very encouraging also for us to hear that. And yes, as I said, we are of course trying to work with all important stakeholders, but we cannot reach everyone. So we also rely on support from businesses. They have also all the data that support our policies, and we have, of course, as a European Commission, quite extensive consultation, and it's always very important to have all the important business sectors on board, and to have a continuous conversation with them to make sure that what we are doing is having the effect that we want it to have, and to make sure that if there are anything pointing to, we can correct the course in due time. So yeah, thank you for that, and it's very great to work with passionate people.
Thank you. We are moving to the closing of this session, but I would like to ask, because this session is a public policy conference for students and for students that are aimed to study public policy. If you have a tip or if you have something to tell for those students, how they can improve or bring circular economy into their future works or future jobs regarding policy. So could you leave a message for those students or those who are watching us about how they can embed the circular economy into their future jobs? Pia, please.
Okay, I start. Yes, I celebrate this type of events because students and the new generations, they need to embrace this concept of circular economy, and I think the way they think, it's already circular, not linear, or at least they start questioning this type of doing business, traditional business. So I celebrate these type of events, and I encourage you, students watching us, this is a cliche, but to think out of the box, because everything, it's linear, as Petar mentioned. Everything is linear, and it's much more complicated to make a circular model from a linear model. So to start from the beginning thinking circular, it's really the best way we can improve this transition, and we can achieve this transition. To start thinking in eco-design from the beginning, not when I already produced a lot of different type of products, and then, okay, what do I have to do with this? So let's think before we enter this phase of production. If you are from the public policy side you must think also in these policies, how can boost this type of circular models, circular business, and erase from your mind the business as usual. So I encourage you to start thinking, to rise up your hand and start talking about this more. And there's a lot of papers, the Ellen MacArthur, Chatham House, really think tanks are doing a lot of research in this area. So go read and think, and also you are in the, as Peter mentioned, we are in the best time to start thinking in this way. So take advantage of that. And from Unido's side, we are trying to work together with the private sector and the governments, thinking in these new ways of doing business and improving the industrialization too.
I can continue. I am absolutely agree with Pia. Really excited with the new generations. I think they have digitalization in their DNA, also circularity in their DNA. And when you check, for example, maybe all of you know Carlota Perez, Professor Carlota Perez, and when you see business cycles, I have no doubt that we are in the middle of the crisis when you see that cycle, but after this we are heading towards a golden age era, and this is a huge opportunity for all of you guys. I mean, you are seeing an industrial revolution, a digital revolution, an ecological revolution, and also a financial revolution if you are into crypto or Bitcoin. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I think it's really important for all of you that are studying public policies to learn and to grasp the reality of the private sector. I've seen this, for example, or my recommendation is that circular economy is not a one size fits all. It's really custom, and you need to know the real specific realities of each industry you're working with. I've seen this, for example, with blockchain, that everybody thinks, oh, okay, we can put blockchain on everything. No, I was talking to some people. You need to really know the industry you're working with blockchain. The same is for the circular economy. I mean, if you're working on agriculture or manufacturing, it's absolutely different. And I would add, if you're doing the same, but in Europe or Africa or India or Latin America, it's absolutely different. So it's really important and to say that this is also a cultural revolution. You need to know the particularities of each territory. So we are moving also from this idea of globalization to what I understand as glocalization. That is the mixture of global thinking but local action. So it's really important for you guys, if you have the opportunity, to collaborate with the private sector, to even work with some companies, to have a holistic view and help us move towards a circular economy in this great new industrial and digital fourth industrial revolution.
And me coming last, and then perhaps speaking a bit for DG Environment and European Commission. I think actually I would like to thank the generation of today's students and the young people, because they have a huge impact, and their effort actually brought the European Green Deal to existence, because without all public awareness and the wishes of young people and their marches, we are pretty sure that we would not have the momentum that we have now for the creation of European Green Deal and bringing forward the environment. So from my side, just please continue to have environment and environmental policies on your mind. Environmental considerations are not going anywhere. They are now, thankfully, part of our economic transition. It's the green transition. It's the building back better. So I certainly hope that this will really come into fruition, and that all sectors and all businesses will follow suit. So please have it in mind in your future work, in your studies, and yeah, then we will manage, as Peter said, the next industrial green revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I have just one question that really also be helpful for students on the Q&A is from the perspective of students, where do you research gaps about circular economy in Latin America or in general for, you know,
But I couldn't hear the question. I had
uh, from the perspective of students, where do you think are the research gaps on circular economy and public, public policy circular economy?
okay. From the Latin America point of view, I already mentioned earlier some, and I don't want to repeat, but I think that we have a lot work to do with sharing knowledge between countries, and but I don't want to say it's a gap, but because we are working on that, but it was a gap, and it is still a gap, but we are working on that with this regional coalition. And for example, the Peter mentioned today these events of circular economy, that the first one was in Uruguay, then in Chile, then Paraguay, with these speakers and sharing the private sector, what they are doing. The Uruguay Circular Award was one of these initiatives too. So the gaps is to make it more visible, to the gaps identified for me, it's to do it more visible, these initiatives from the private sector, to speak more government and private sector to identify it's key what Peter mentioned, to identify the needs, the special needs, and not to make a law and then the private sector, instead of helping them, improving their productive way or whatever, they have some barriers. So to get more involved, government and private sector is key. We have a lot of work to do with that too. And the other gap that we need to improve is the investment on research and development. We need to invest more, but not more, but a quality investment in this type of research and development, and the skills that we need from the workers to do this transition in a just transition to a circular economy. The introduction of new technologies, we all are aware that many workers and many are going to be left outside the productive sector. So we need to invest more in developing the skills needed to adopt this transition, and to be, as in United Nations we said, no one left behind. So these are the gaps that for me are key to start working urgently.
Thank you,
For
Pia.
me, for me, the gap is data. Absolutely. Sometimes we're like on a plane without the control panel with no numbers, no nothing. So sometimes it's really hard to fly like that. I think there's a great opportunity. We have a great scientific and entrepreneur, which is a Chilean entrepreneur, which is Cesar Hidalgo. Maybe you all guys know him from Data Wheel. He working on MIT, and now he's in France. So he's helping a lot of governments to bring this data, especially in Latin American countries, out for the people to understand. The other thing is that I think sometimes in Latin America, because we suffered a huge deindustrialization process, maybe not is the case of Brazil and Mexico, which are two of the most industrialized countries, but the rest of us, in the last decades, the governments have had an obsession with some industries of or key areas, missing the huge value creation of small to medium companies, especially in engineering, manufacturing, technology, and sometimes, and that's what I've seen through my a really small podcast, but I've seen amazing success cases that governments in all the region have no idea of the huge impact, economic, social, and environmental impact they are having. That's why it's so important for the circular economy to be present, because it allows us to showcase these cases. So there's a great opportunity for me. It's like a gold mine that you have for all the students that are seeing this. I mean, you have a lot of great information. And the other thing that I absolutely agree with Pia is the collaboration, and that's why the coalition is so important. We need to have more seminars, more conferences, but especially we need to show the success cases that I can guarantee you we have hundreds or thousands in our region that can be a real and can set an example for the rest of the world.
I will go for perhaps a bit more onto a specific example. What we see, and from my also previous work, there is a lot of research and data gap on pollution side, and on for most notably on the effects of chemicals in the environment. Of course, chemicals and the pollution are very important to achieve a clean cycle and the circular economy. So if some students are very interested in this regard, I think there is a lot of future in this, and also a huge importance in terms of policies. So, and in any case, I also, of course, agree again with my co-speakers, Petar and Pia, on the fact that we do need more data, and then we certainly need a lot of technological and then experience transfer and exchange.
Thank you, Carolina. I think also, for my point of view, a really gap is how we connected the really unique assets that you have in Latin America, like biodiversity, indigenous knowledge, the way we are dealing, the way we are building our industry, our production into the circular economy. So I think data about food security, about biodiversity, about uh, linear process versus circular models, benefits of that in a scientific way could really help the companies and governments to shift the model to a circular economy. Because for my point of view, research, we are kind of limited in research in Latin America. We always rely on some funding or something else that comes outside Latin America. And sometimes that funding not shape us to a common interest in the region, but for external interests. It's kind of a colonization stuff. So I would say, thinking about the only or the things that are really unique in the region, and bring that into your research, that can make you a really, really good data for us and for Latin America and for every region that you are looking for to do a research. So thanks so much, Pia. Thanks so much, Carolina. Thanks so much, Petar, for being here today. We are closing the session, but if you guys have anything and any comment, or would like to be in touch with our speakers today, I think we have the LinkedIn and link for our members here. Thanks so much.
Very much.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on the event. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, congratulations and thank you.